My name is Tricia Wang, co-founder of MIT-AAIS Society, and we are working with Ramesh's Project NANDA on the web3 quilt. And I think the last panel was really important. Let me see which computer I use to control the slides. Here we go. At the Advanced AI Society, our purpose is to ensure that everyone has access to an AI stack that preserves autonomy. As you heard in the last panel with Pradyumna, I thought what Rob Lincourt from Dell said was really important is that which future do we imagine? And we're imagining that this future is going to work out. So if we start from that assumption, then what should we be doing? Well, if we are a mature industry, we believe that it's time for an industry association and to have projects like Project NANDA to speed things up because we don't have time, is exactly what the last panel was saying. And we need to make sure that we're not just operating in silos. So we are a neutral organization of leading AI innovators that proves, pilots, and promotes solutions that address privacy, verification, transparency across the entire AI stack. So if you are building AI in a decentralized, around any of these kind of values of open source, decentralization, privacy preserving values, we want to talk to you. And this is why we are working with Project NANDA on our first standards project with building out the web3 quilt. Some of you may be familiar with this RFP that we put out in May. And the RFP was really trying to answer this big question that Ramesh really kind of framed up for us, is that in this first phase, as everyone is building out their registries, how do we ensure that the autonomous agent registries are not the next set of walled gardens? And I think as the last panel pointed out, is that we actually know better this time around. Maybe in the past, we didn't have time, we didn't have the communication systems to catch up and be like, hey, we need to coordinate before we build out that phone book or that DNS system, right? Or even like the acre or metrics, all these different kind of measuring systems that become legacy ecosystems or measurement systems that hang over us. But this time around, we're smarter. We're at MIT. We've had many decades of tech development here where we know how this goes. And so the team is Ramesh's team is well positioned to set up this question. And so we've already launched a proposal. There's 3 phases to the Web3 quilt. In May 2025, which is a month ago, it's incredible that we launched the RFP. And then we moved into the solution mode, which is the launch of that is today. From the RFP asking for presentations that responded to this question of how do we not build up the next set of walled gardens, we're here to prioritize requirements. And then after July, we move into the build phase with the support of many of the funders here. Now, how do we ensure that we move from solution to community? And this is why, one of the reasons why we are here today at this event is that the thing that we're gonna work on in this invite-only workshops is a Web3 quilt interoperably designed brief. This is to ensure that we set up the requirements needed. As you can see, these are the sections that this invite-only workshop is gonna work on. And we've invited our speakers that are coming up and our solution presenters. And so the next portion of the Web3 flywheel is, this is our programming, is we're gonna move into scan, which is we're gonna chart the constraints. You're gonna hear from 15 speakers in the ecosystem that we think are really incredible really pertinent for setting up the conversations and identifying the constraints and opportunities that have to be addressed in an open agent registry. And then that conversation is going to set up the context for us to move into Spotlight, where we showcase from the call for the RFP for proposals, we're going to spotlight 11 solutions that we think are worth highlighting for the community to debate and to give input over. So all of you are in the audience, the presenters, you're going to be coming up right after the speakers. And then from that, while everyone else goes to lunch and you network, we'll have the community, the presenters, and the solution proposals. And I believe there's also a section here, the Decentralized AI Workshop or Presenters Showcase. There's a half hour. We're inviting you all to, if you're in the room, you are also invited to this workshop where we're gonna do this sprint and we're gonna essentially do a big idea dump to create this interoperably designed brief. And then after this, the steering committee will be taking all the briefs together and compiling them as a charter for their working groups to do build over the summer. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to my co-founder, Michael Casey, to set up the next section for a scan where we meet the 15 speakers from the ecosystem.